Hello, welcome to the Impact Podcast. This evening we will be hosting Mr. David Keener with the Premier Group of eXp. Welcome, David.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, we're super pumped to have David. He's absolutely amazing and runs a phenomenal organization within eXp. It is a mega icon team. So we're going to dive into that a little bit later on. But David, go ahead and tell us a little bit about what got you to this point in your career, where you came from and who you are.
Oh gosh, going all the way back, huh?
All the way back, 100%. Let's deep down. Let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with high school. Right out of high school, I went into the Air Force and spent 4 years. And now my timing going into the military was absolutely impeccable. It was during the World Wide Web being created and developed and deployed publicly. So I took advantage of my time and some training and some opportunities and learned quite a bit about internet working. Again, the internet wasn't even a word yet. It was called the World Wide Web. And I kind of carved out a niche and a passion for security in internet working. And anyways, after getting out of the military, started working for corporate America, did a few jobs for a couple years. One consulting firm, where I was billing out at, $250, $300 an hour, and I wasn't taking home that. So I said, I'm going to start a business. And it was in cybersecurity. And I brought on a couple partners, and basically the niche was hacking into companies. That's how we started. It was called penetration testing. And over a period of 7 years, built that up and sold that for about $15 million. And literally the very next day, we took a large percentage of that capital and invested it in a competitor of ours to start another company. And instead of hacking into companies, and again, this wasn't bad guy hacking, this is good guy stuff. Corporate companies, I can't name who they are even today. I don't want to get in trouble.
That, though.
What's that?
As a corporation, I mean, in the day and age that we live in now, imagine even then, like how important it was for the fundamental information that they were creating the products. Like you have to have cybersecurity. It's essential.
I could go on for hours with some of the stories because it wasn't just a bunch of geeks sitting there with keyboards. I mean, we would do social engineering. We've had guys get busted up by security guards. We would use Pringle cans to hack into Wi-Fi networks from as much as a mile away.
Whoa, all right, David.
Yeah,
you're on my team. If the world goes to, excuse my language, children, shit, you're on my team. Sorry, Ryan.
That's okay. I got it on the wall behind me here, so.
Well, we would have guys dress up in pizza delivery uniforms, and they would go to the receptionist with a pizza and just say, yeah, I'm supposed to deliver this to your conference room. And she'd say, oh, go ahead. And he'd walk back there and duck into an empty office and stay there till 5, 6 o'clock at night, and then have his way with the company. I'm talking big publicly traded companies too.
Wow.
And the amount of information that we could get out of there because of unlocked computers or unsecured Wi-Fi networks, it was amazing, but and then we would provide that evidence, and lo and behold, they would sign a multi-quarter, multi-year contract to make sure that never happened again. Because not only would we break in, we'd tell them, hey, here's the problem. And we'd help them mitigate that. But that was company number one. Company number two that I started in technology was also in security. But this time, instead of breaking in, we were putting systems in place to keep hackers out. This time took a little longer, about 8 years. And we built that up to about 350 employees nationally and a couple people internationally. And we sold that for $225 million. No, that wasn't all mine. There's a ton of partners and
that number though is pretty beautiful.
Heyo.
A lot of shareholders and whatnot, but it was a great time. 15, 16 years in technology. It was great. But at that point, I didn't retire, even semi-retire. I immediately jumped into philanthropic kind of opportunities. Church planning, believe it or not, was something that I did for a couple of years in Cuba and throughout the United States. I also sat on the board of other companies, technology companies, invested in technology companies and real estate myself. Used to own, medical buildings and residential. And then one day, actually, this is all in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. And one day, it was in June, and it was like 50 degrees, and me and the wife were just sitting on the porch saying, "Why are we doing this? This is brutal." So
It's
really, I got
cold.
on Zillow of all places, and I was looking for a place with a lot of land, you know, a warmer climate, less taxes, and I found a few homes. But we literally got in the car, drove down here, fell in love with this beautiful home on 40 acres with its own 4-acre lake, stocked with thousands of fish, and
Nice.
you could
Yeah.
hunt, 4-wheelers, all that stuff. And that literally is what drove me down here to North Carolina, Greensboro. Never heard of the place, honestly. But 6 weeks later, made an offer, and we were living here, and spent 6 months fishing. Got a little bored, and I
You
needed to do
deserved
some
that, though, for sure.
Yeah,
It sounds like you had a lot going on.
there was a lot of 7 days a week, you know, 12, 15, 16-hour days. That was a norm. That's what it takes, you know, to start a business. And
Sure.
it was hard work. But after taking a break for 6 months, not doing anything, I was way too young to just stop everything. And I do not like the golf. So I had to figure out what I want to do. So I looked across different industries, and I did not want to get back into technology. I was getting older. It was hard to compete with the kids, you know, that were smarter and literally were born to do what I was doing. And so I definitely had a passion for investing in real estate. I had a nice real estate portfolio, and it was tangible. Real estate is tangible, something you can insure, you know, something that has great tax benefits like depreciation. It'll capitalize better. I mean, you can do so many things with real estate, but I also love technology still. So at the end of the day, what I did realize, you know, both you guys, it wasn't any one industry that I loved. I loved building businesses. And if you take a deeper dive into real estate and being a firm, a brokerage, you could build out a business that helped others build their businesses. Because let's face it, I mean, real estate brokers and agents are independent contractors. They are individual businesses. And why I went into real estate was I could build a business with staff, employees, and everything else, have agents as members, and support them into success. And that's what we've built. You know, it's been truly a amazing ride. So now we're 5 years later. And for the first 4 years, almost, believe it or not, it was with another brokerage, one of the big box brokerages. And we were always stuck about 20 to 30 agents. And I just couldn't get that POW, you know, to expand nationally. And listen, I'm a go big or go home kind of person. I don't like micro levels, working at a local level. And
that's the only way to be.
Shoot
for the stars, 100%. I mean, got to make an impact in what you're doing.
Right. Well, I wasn't getting into real estate to make money. I was doing it because of my passion for building business, you know? So long and short is we aligned ourselves with eXp, the world's fastest growing brokerage, for a lot of reasons, you know, we can talk about in a bit. But since we made that move, our agents are making more money. We are making a tremendous amount more money. We're able to support our agents much more effectively. We're getting more money in their hands. We've come up with other programs where agents are making, I'm not joking, greater than 100% commission through these different avenues that eXp provides us and our team. The other option was I was going to build and go public myself, you know, and compete with the likes of a Compass and an eXp. But that would have taken, you know, 3-5 years, a round of investing. And it was just, I didn't know if I had the energy for it. So again, we hitched our cart to eXp. Why? Because Glenn Sanford and the executives within that organization have truly created something built from the ground up for agents. It truly is. I mean, there is no other place. I've looked at all of them. Before we made this move from another brokerage, I did the look. I did the due diligence. And it's very rare that you hear a spiel, you know, you read the marketing material, the hype and everything else, and what you buy or what you commit to is actually better.
I say what you get, but that's better. It really is.
It is. It actually, it's been 1 year and 4 or 5 months now, and our agents feel it was better than what we thought it was going to be. I can see the numbers. It's better than what we anticipated. And that is a very rare thing to be able to tell.
Yeah,
amazing.
I relate to that too. I mean, shoot, I only, the agents that I brought in too, like they don't even, like they just come to me because they like me and stuff like that, my energy and stuff like that. They don't even I can't even get to the details about eXp before they're like already like they want to switch. And it's like, so I see the look on their faces when I actually tell them more about the company, like, just so you guys know, you get all this stuff, like, and that's
all
just
the additives.
and yeah, and I can't even tell them all at once because they'll just be, they won't even comprehend it all. And like, even myself, the longer I've been in the company, forget all the people that are my business partners that are now I consider family. Forget that. Like, that in itself is amazing. But a lot of brokerages say that too, though. Don't get me wrong. That's why they don't want to leave, because they don't want to leave their people. But it's just like, even now, still I'm learning new things, honestly, almost daily about the company. That's like, and none of it's bad. I'm actually like looking for a person who I don't like in our company. I'm looking for something that I'm like,
Yeah,
that's not what I was
Where's
told.
the negatives
And
at?
I just can't find it. It's just like you were saying, it's just like, it's better than I expected.
Ryan, before part of that due diligence, before I made the switch and affiliated with eXp, I literally was calling random people that were already aligned with eXp and doing research. I called the executives and I spoke with them, and everything they said aligned with what the agent said. I was asking them things, very personal questions, you know, because eXp is one of the very, very rare brokerages where you can get stock, publicly traded stock, you know, and it generate wealth. And I was asking agents, how much are you sitting on? And the number of agents that said $80,000, $115,000, $120,000. And
I want to be there.
How long have you been here? And they said 3 years. I said, so that's pretty awesome. And then like the rev share thing, the rev share thing's very real. It's just not something I'm focused on. And the number of agents making $4,000, $6,000, $8,000 a month for doing nothing, just as a reward for growing this awesome company and adding to the roster, is amazing. It really is. So here we are today, 1 year, 4 or 5 months later, we went from 20 agents roughly to now 80. We're not just in one state of North Carolina now.
Wow.
We're in 7 states. This is just since July, because we officially said we're ready. We have all the pieces and parts, the proper technology, the people, the processes to exponentiate. And we have 80 folks, and we're on our way to 200. We will be at 200 by summer, definitely by the end of the year. We're going to be in 7 states. We're going to be in 15 different states by the end of the year, 25 major markets at a minimum. It's
I have
really
chills
exciting.
for you. Oh my gosh, it's so incredible.
He's firing me up over here. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? By the end of 2023, we're going to be $1 billion in volume. Oh, I'm really excited. So
it's incredible.
We'll do somewhere between 100 and 150 million this year in volume, which is awesome. Again, it's been an amazing ride. It's only getting better.
That's incredible. The vehicle to get you there, eXp, like, I mean, it's just, there's nothing like it. And we don't typically go too much into eXp on these too much. So I think it's appropriate at this point.
Not to.
It's really hard not to. But, you know, I've been approached by other people, and the benefit, one, of eXp, one, of a good organization, and then 2, of a good team. Like, you just can't really put words on having support, and having the right support and then the right sponsor and being with the right brokerage firm is essential to your success. It doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people have asked me, they're like, Jess, you know, your energy, you know, you're doing so amazing. Like, how are you doing it? And I'm like, I literally jumped off the deep end into the foggy abyss. Like, I'm going. I'm literally falling still, but I'm in the right places.
You're falling forward. You're falling forward.
Exactly.
That's good.
Exactly.
David, when you were talking about your background, I was literally like, this is the perfect brokerage. Technology and real estate and a business in the middle. Like, this is perfect for you.
It is. It's nirvana. It really is. Like I said, I don't have a lot of hobbies. That's what's crazy. I play cornhole. I got a cornhole pad in the backyard. I got a koi pond. That's the extent of my hobbies. You know, I like doing this. You know, I've been very fortunate in life. I think God's handed me some tools and capabilities that a lot of people don't have. So I'm lending those to agents, members of my team, and we're doing it together. I'm partnering with them.
Love it.
You know, and it's been an awesome journey. I love having my team meetings, monthly team meetings. I mean, it's very rare you see people get emotional, you know, with joy. You know, they're excited for where they were and now where they're at. And
Yep.
I mean, I got a million stories, about agent success. But anyways,
Yeah.
you guys go ahead.
Yeah, I
So-
can relate to that because like it's one thing you hear somebody on somebody else's team, but when you're truly kind of like what Jess was saying, when you're truly yourself and you attract like-minded people to your team, and then you see them just start out, and then you start to see them grow, and like you said on the Monday meetings, you see their faces and see where they started and physically watch them grow, and you do it together, and you had some input, and they come back and thank you, and like you can't really explain it. I can talk all day about it, but when you feel it, it's just like it just pumps me up, and it's something I was kind of hoping for. But when you're in the middle of it, it's like it just gets me going. It gets me pumped up. I love it. Like, and the bigger you get, the more like you think you're starting out. You got a smaller team type thing, and that's great. And then you meet someone, and you didn't even know you needed them in your team. And it's like, oh wow, like this is great, makes us better, and everybody's just thriving. And the way with eXp is good too. Not to go too much into it, but like. Yeah, you can be on a small team, but like we're in your upline, you also have so many other teams and they pour into you as well.
Yes.
It's just incredible. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I actually held off because I thought it was too good to be true before I switched. I'm like, there's no way that's true. There's just no way.
I know.
So I was looking for holes.
Yep.
So that was actually really smart what you did, random phone calls and stuff. That's like next level. I love that. Some investigation work. I love it.
And how do you think that investigation work and really looking into who is going to be your sponsor laid that path for you?
It was a formality at that point. I knew if I talked to a single individual, it was going to be, a heavy pitch. Come on, join. I'm telling you, it's going to be. They're not going to tell you anything bad. But I searched and found that person that I felt that I could leverage for my agents. That could give us a boost, an extra boost. And I found Jay Kinder and saw him on YouTube and whatnot. I reached out and, he sure enough, he has his own groups, his own support resources that I could double down on to give added advantage to the agents,
Well, believe it or not, all three of us are honey badgers. We are there. So anyone who doesn't know, Jay Kinder's organization is Honey Badger Nation. If I'm not mistaken, there are, you probably know better than I, David. How many?
Over 4,000. I know that.
Mm-mm. It's approaching 7,000.
Yeah, 7,000.
Crazy.
So 7,000 people in an organization helping build each other and support each other. Brokerage firms don't have that. And it's just incredible. Like I'm in a Facebook group. If I have a question, I can ask it and I'm going to get an answer.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. Like I've said before, your organization that you choose can very much affect your business at the end of the day.
No doubt. Who you align yourself, just like in life, you surround yourself with those friends. It truly does impact. Your circles impact your success or failures. They really do.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are football fans or maybe people watching, but I'm in the Detroit area. So I'm a Matthew Stafford guy who just happened to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys heard of him or not, but he was he was number one pick overall. He came to a terrible, I don't want to say terrible organization because I'm a fan, but not a winning organization. I'll say that, to say the least. That's a fact. And he did the best he could, and he really tried, and then he went to a better organization with better people around him. And in 1 year, he went to the Super Bowl and won it.
Yeah.
I mean, what a perfect, I haven't heard anyone say it, but like, what a perfect analogy with like the right brokerage. You could be a rock star agent, but if you're like around nobody helping you or pouring into you, you can just kind of run out and you can have good sales, individually, but are you going to really feel that full business and that satisfaction and getting excited for that Monday meeting and helping other people around you grow with you and together you just keep going? Absolutely. It just goes to show like the vehicle is like everything.
100%. I'd absolutely agree with that. So the technology aspect of eXp, how do you think that is going to change in the next, I would say, let's go 2 years?
Well, it's funny. I mean, look at cryptocurrency. I mean, that's going to evolve, and not just from the standpoint of being able to leverage cryptocurrency to put towards a house, but I'm talking, well, we've talked about this, NFTs and the ability to buy virtual real estate. I mean, we joke about it.
Right. How crazy is that? Ryan, have you heard about that, by the way?
I actually was going to go. Tessa Bella had a course. She had somebody, she was a guest on our podcast a few months ago, and she actually had a course. I meant to do it, but I just kind of, you can make excuses. I just didn't do it. But she had an expert on there talking about digital real estate. Like, it's a thing. And I should have jumped on because I don't get how you can't just make more of it.
So it's not what David's talking about, actually, and him and I have talked about this. There was actually an NFT that was made of a house that physically was sold, and the tangible asset you got was a house in Florida. How insane is that?
Yeah.
Like, it was a $680,000 NFT that you got a house with.
Yeah.
What?
Pretty amazing.
Go ahead, David. I'm so sorry. It's just I had to make sure everybody knew. Like, it's mind blowing.
I mean, so the whole virtual reality thing, and it's so funny going back to eXp and eXp world, it was kind of odd to me to be able to walk around like Avatar-like, but it is the future. I mean, let's talk about concerts. We all like to go to concerts, right? But it's getting to the point where they can fit more than 80,000 people into a stadium to listen to a concert and to get better seats being online. Okay. Imagine you going into this city, and there being a stadium right there, but on your way walking towards that stadium, you pass up a few other signs or boutiques or whatnot. And along the way, obviously, where you can put those signs, those buildings, walk in and see the wares of whoever's selling what. I mean, that has value, more value than being, a long way away where you have to walk far away. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see where that evolves. In terms of other technology, there's just going to be more and more put into CRMs and AI, artificial intelligence to automate a lot of our day. Truth be told, I mean, we're going to have to increase our volume as agents, but technology is going to enable that to occur.
Right.
It's a speed to close. I think, obviously I'm biased. I'll tell you that right now. I believe teams are going to be critical for faster pace of processing. I think the days are gone. They're way gone from where people open up a newspaper and then say, hey, there's an open house. Let's go.
I mean, it's gone before.
It's gone.
What's an open house?
It's gone. So what's one way that you can help with that process? That would be not waiting for an open house. That would be going somewhere, walking in virtually, looking around, walking around the neighborhood, all virtually through drone footage, through those little chest cams, where you can walk around, allow people to tour, get closer up on the walls, look up in the attic, all that kind of stuff. That's the future. People, the days are gone where people need to wait, go into the house, touch the walls. That's how good the technology is advancing. It's pretty interesting.
That's incredible.
That's the new open house concept coming.
I mean, you can kind of do that already now with the virtual tours and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, the Matterport. I mean, that software in general is phenomenal. Like, absolutely.
Walk the streets with Google Maps, kind of. It's not the best quality. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I'm curious. Both of your opinions on the. I mean, I could answer the question too, but I'm curious on your take on it, basically, about the future of a realtor with all this technology and stuff.
So I think, the biggest threat to a realtor is the folks or the likes of like an Amazon putting their toe in the water to the market. And imagine overnight, they listed every home. They have all the addresses. They know who lives in them.
Right. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Seriously.
And all
the biggest database in the world right there.
Imagine that CRM. Oh my goodness.
Yep. They know a lot. I mean, there's a lot of technology threats that are out there, being totally candid. Zillow was a threat, and that's diminished substantially recently.
But they can rebuild though. Yeah.
It's a rebuild. Yeah. But I would, going back to the threats, if we don't make sure that the MLSs do a better job representing us as agents, we're all in trouble.
They're terrible.
They're terrible. The bureaucracies and the many different individuals that want a taste is absurd. The fact that there's multiple MLSs in each region or a micro region it's borderline corruption, if you ask me. It's making it harder for us to compete. It's making it harder for us to use the license that we worked so hard to get. Okay. When with just a couple clicks, you could create a database on a statewide or national level. Okay. To do a better job for our clients. The fact that somebody 15 minutes away, some agents can't show homes is just ludicrous. So we as agents, I don't really do production, but our agents need to do a better job pressuring the MLS leaders to consolidate, to merge. But the problem is you have heads on the tops of these MLSs. They're getting paid, substantial salaries, and all the staff too. When technology is all you really truly need with some staff, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to minimize their value. They have value. They keep things organized. They make sure that our agents are doing a good job. But they're also doing us a disservice by keeping things so fragmented and so expensive for agents to do just exactly what they want to do. And then you turn around and they're striking relationships with technology companies that could literally minimize or reduce the value and importance of an agent.
Yep.
It's just absolutely counter to what they should be doing. They should be protecting, something at a micro level, but then they open it up on a national level to some. There's just something wrong with it. It needs to be looked at, and we need to put pressure on them.
Yeah, and it needs to be more user friendly. I mean, I get on there and it's so like borderline complicated. It's like I go on a free app that's free that I'm not paying hundreds of dollars a year to use, and it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like, and like I did a bunch of CMAs yesterday, and I like to be very as accurate as possible. And like you were talking about all this technology and all these systems, it's like, can we not get as accurate as possible without, as accurate as possible, and then we can just walk the property and just kind of fine tune it? Can we not just hit a button and just like?
I mean, there are things out there, but it's so hard to be like, yep, I'm going to use said item because I don't trust those.
Yeah, I can't. But you're right. There is stuff out there. And what I do is I check 3 or 4 of them and just to have them there as like some type of indication. But I still got to do the work just so I can be confident, and do the right service for my client. But it's like there should be something that's just it's accurate as possible. Literally walk on, type in the address, boom, and then be able to get it right away, and then do the final walk, just to walk the property.
Okay, but Ryan, if you have that eliminates your job. So you're not.
You only have access to it.
Your point. But if you have access to it, a big company is going to have access to it. I personally think, to answer your question, it's going to be those agents that are going to stay relevant in their market, staying top of mind, making sure, hey, I'm still here to service you. I am the local expert because of A, B, and C reason. You can go to this system, but has that system ever walked in this town? Do they know where your kids go to school? Do they know the restaurants? Have they ever been here? Or are they just going to tell you, kind of like Zillow? They don't know how much the properties are actually worth. They think they know, but their estimates, disclaimer, they're wrong. They are wrong 99% of the time, and it's giving.
Sometimes though. And everyone's a local expert. Everyone knows the area, like that lives there. So they all claim the same thing. Just like go on social media, everyone's a top producer. Like it's it's really tough because everyone's claiming the same thing and everyone's saying the same thing. It's like, I don't know.
I get that. I would say just being relevant, staying on top, like top of the industry in general, the NFTs, what's going to drive, getting an Oculus and making sure you understand. I know Ray-Ban came out with glasses that actually has little cameras in it. I thought about getting a pair so I could do virtual showings that way. I don't have to have my phone. I can put on my Ray-Bans. Are you connected? And we can walk through the house. And they can be like, oh, can I go back to this room? And we'll walk through and I'll show them the house.
I think that's connected to
Facebook. That's a business expense.
Right?
Perfect. I can go live. I'm an open house and a showing at the same time. That's just smarter, not harder.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited. Like a lot of people I feel are really afraid and rightfully so, you know, some for certain aspects, kind of like what I was just kind of talking about. But I'm getting excited, or at least choosing to be excited about it, because like David was saying, like it's coming, and we're not going to be able to stop it. Like, so I'm just going to try to use it, like Jessica was saying, get ahead of it, you know, and be the first one, be an innovator, like David has his whole life, you know, his whole career.
Yeah, you are an absolute inspiration, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, please.
The World Wide Web over here.
It's the secret's very simple. It's doing old things a better way. That's all. That's if you wake up each day, you know, here's how it's been done. Here's how we're going to do it, and you innovate. You're going to be in good shape. You know, you really are. And you can always provide value on top of what someone else is providing. You know, but the question is, at what cost? You know, so you can still make a profit. I think margins are going to slim down. I think commissions are going to be reduced over time.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
You know, it's going to happen. But again, because of technology and the emphasis being on transactions, the volume of transactions, you'll recover that. So it'll balance itself out. It will balance itself out. There's a possibility that agents go on salaries. That's a very real possibility.
Interesting.
They do that in Europe already.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, in Europe they have a salary, and I'm not going to get too much into it because it's kind of like I know a little bit about it. You know, that could be dangerous sometimes. You know, but I was on a Team Go-Go meeting, and this guy was talking about, basically it was for like, well, I'll just kind of leave it at that. But I will say this though, he was he was saying that how it's different over there. It's tougher to, you got to have the right mindset when you're going to talk to people about potentially partnering up with you, because first of all, eXp is a little bit different in each country, so that's something to keep in mind. You need to really know what it is eXp is in that country. It's a little bit different. Not everyone can do it the same way it is in the United States because of history, you know, and then laws and stuff like that. In Europe, it's kind of like their salary, very low salary, by the way. I think like 20 grand or 30 grand, something crazy, okay. And it's you don't even get, I don't believe you even get any commission off of the sale, and you can't do any of your personal advertising. They don't even I don't even think they put your name on the signs. It's
That's
like
so interesting.
It's crazy. And there's like hardly any realtors because nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be salary, but I want a 6-figure salary to do that.
Right.
You put your name out there, that's fine.
He was saying that like an experienced realtor over there is like 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
You're just getting started in about 4 years.
Just like, it was mind blowing. I was like, wow. Like,
well, look at Redfin. Redfin, and forgive me if I get these stats wrong, but Redfin, they're a very established organization, a brokerage with a great brand, beautiful, wonderful technology. We've all seen their websites. It's awesome technology, what they've built. But did you know that less than 2% of all the transactions are conducted by Redfin? And those are salaried agents with incentives. Think about that.
Interesting.
Versus the other brokerages that aren't on salaries, you know? I don't know.
I mean, it comes down to hard work. Like if you're getting paid a salary, you're going to work coming from a corporate background. Like I knew how much I was going to get paid and you weren't going to fire me. So if I took 5 hours to do it or an hour to do it, like it's not going to matter. But if I'm making my own money and it's my time, it's my business, right, I'm going to work 1,000 times harder at it.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Pride. Yep.
And, yeah, pride, and you're trying to make rent next month. You know, it's like, and it's like when you have these salaries, it's like that's so much overhead. So they got to make it up somewhere. Yeah. You know.
Absolutely.
That's so interesting.
What else, guys?
Salary.
I'm definitely going to have to look in more into that. That's kind of cool. So I wanted to ask you, David, who has been the biggest influence in your life?
Oh, wow. That
I told you he's going to come out with the big questions.
Well, you know, it's a funny story, and I hope I don't offend anybody.
Uh-oh. No, okay.
I was 16 years old, and I just got this, you know, with my own money. You know, I had newspaper routes. I worked in a grocery store, all this other stuff. I did everything to make a buck. And I bought this car for $460. It was a 1976 Ford Mustang with rust and everything else. Well, me and a buddy were driving in a grocery store during a snowstorm, and I was doing donuts in it in Pittsburgh, and I hit a pothole. Both leaf springs went out. I had to have the thing. Yeah, I had to have it towed up to my grandfather's house. And this is in February. This is in February in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I just remember my dad and my grandfather out there, and I'm, standing at the side because I'm 16. I don't know what I'm doing, but they're out there. If you ever taken leaf springs off of a car, it's not easy. You have to pry it up. You got to get a welding torch. You got to bang at it. And for 2 days to get those 2 leaf springs off. No, we had to go to the junkyard to go find a couple more because the other ones were snapped. But I just remember later on in the first day, I'm just standing at the side. My dad's on his back on ice. My grandfather, who's old, is on his back. They're in there with welding. The stuff's falling down on their face. And I said, can I go inside and get warm? And my dad said, oh, no, you're in it with us. And I said, but I'm not doing anything. He goes, yeah, that's right. He goes, but you're going to sit here and watch and learn. He goes, and unless you go find something, you don't bust your back like I did, blue collar worker,
right.
Doing HVAC, and he was worked in steel mills. He goes, you need to find another way and carve a path out that isn't based on hard manual labor. That's the only way you're not going to do this. You're going to sit here, you're going to learn because you're going to need to do this on your very own car in some time in the future. You know what I said to him? Then I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find a way to make sure that I've got enough money to pay someone else to do it because this isn't my thing. That was kind of the launch of my mindset. He established some context. This is what you do when, you don't have enough to pay someone else to do it. And I didn't want to do that. That wasn't nice for me. But, in terms of inspiration, though, it was without a question my grandfather. I mean, he was a hard working Mo. I mean, he never stopped. And he got up 6 a.m., had his coffee. He was outside or at work. And even when work was done, he did some more work around the house. He took a lot of pride in the little bit that he had. He had nothing. That's to be totally candid. I come from nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm a welfare kid. I grew up on assistance. We had the government cheese. That's how we survived. Us 4 kids and my single mom in California, living in a barrio. It was bad times. Watching crime go on and us getting beat up and everything else. But it was my grandfather and his work ethic that showed me this is what it takes to have something. But the inspiration part wasn't just on his work ethic. It was the fact that he had so much joy in his little nothing. It's funny, right. When you are successful, when you do have some money and stuff, it lasts for a minute. But along the way, if you don't establish joy, and definitely during that time, it's all for nothing, So just, again, it's an inspiration because he knew that. And, he told me that, he's like, it'll be fine if something went bad and things like that. So yeah, that would be my inspiration.
Man, I'm so happy to ask that question. That was great. I can relate to that too. That was because I came from, not the most richest background as well. And it's like, you learn so much, and that's where you get your drive, you know what I'm saying? And like, you can try to teach it, but it's just like, you can't, it is what it is. You just learn it and you felt it, and it's experience. And to see just all the people around you growing up that way, it just kind of just becomes who you are, and then you want to fight hard for your family to not, it's kind of weird because you don't want them to go through it, but at the same time, you want them to have the good morals and stuff you learned. And like just watching you talk about that, like, I can tell that it helped you a lot in your life, being around that atmosphere, and just money changes that a little bit, unfortunately.
It
really
does.
Get that hard work and, take pride in what you have and value that without, or when you throw a bunch of money in, it's really tough. I think about that all the time because, like, I want to make all this money, but I'm like, but I want kids too. So by the time they come around, in theory, yeah, in theory, it's
not out of your money.
It's
yeah, well, that too. But it's like, man, how do I raise these kids being surrounded by all this money? Potentially, whatever. Potentially,
it's interesting, Ryan, because I mean, it's bad enough that parents don't sit down and teach kids the fundamentals of finance and money and what it takes to have a future. And then on top of that, the schools, they don't touch this at all.
Oh, they're
And
brainwashed.
it's literally because they want us to be consumers of doodads, right?
Yep.
That's it. It's what boosts our economy, you know, buying and spending money on worthless things.
Continue to be the middle class.
Yeah, it is. So you stay there. They don't want you to know that you should be putting money away and not spending on things, because it would literally hurt the economy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I struggled with my grades in school, and it wasn't so much the grades; it was me staying focused, which I have severe ADHD, but that's kind of separate topic. But now, and I used to get down on myself for like not wanting to pay attention, always thinking this is stupid, and because the way the teachers portrayed it on you, like you were kind of like you should enjoy doing this. This is you're smart if you know this science and this math and this and that was how they gauge, you know, smarts and, you know,
intelligence,
if you will. Yeah, intelligence. And I'm like, I was thinking I was kind of weird growing up because I'm like, I thought this is all dumb and pointless. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, dude, I was actually low key really smart back then, and wise, because it is pointless for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people go to college and, you know, and go into these nice careers. And so it's not for everyone, but for where I am today, it was pretty much pointless, you know? So it's like, I'm not, you know, I shouldn't have got on myself so much about that, because I was actually right, because there's a lot of brainwashing. But to David's, you know, point, like, unfortunately, that's just the way the world is. And we do need that for our economy to work, you know, and it's kind of sad. If everyone was just independent boss mentality, entrepreneur, like, it really wouldn't work that way. Right. So it just comes down to,
sorry, a lot more of that moving forward, though. I feel like a lot of people are going to become like the 1099 workers, where they're doing commission-based work and they're getting out of going to, you know, school is important. We need doctors, lawyers, you know, we need this educated
absolutely
people.
Yeah,
like that is important for our society. However, people want to be self-made, and being an entrepreneur is the best way to get there, the fastest way. For entrepreneurs out there, what kind of advice would you give them starting out?
Buckle up and don't even put your toe in that water unless you're ready to give up a couple of years of your life. And that's not a joke. It isn't a joke at all. I mean, if you have any plans of succeeding, you can write off a couple of years at a minimum. It took a long time for us to get profitable in that first business. And hey, there were some sad nights. I mean, I'll never forget one night. I got something up on my shelf over there. It's a check for $26,000. It's a color copy of it, and it was our first client. But that check over there literally came in the mail for my first company on the same day that me and my partners agreed if we don't get money, we're going to tell the 3 employees that we had at the time, only 3, that we're shutting down. If that check didn't arrive from work that we had done 2 months prior, it was just late getting paid. We had nothing left. I'd maxed out my credit cards. The other 2 partners maxed out everything too. They committed some of their retirement towards it. We all put money in, you know. But if that check didn't arrive by 2 p.m., we made the agreement. And sure enough, that check came. And that was the difference from being done and not. It was a saving grace. But in terms of entrepreneurs, wow. You better love it. You better love it, every element of it, and be prepared to wear a hat or 500, you know, because it's what it takes. I've been a lawyer, a marketing guru, an engineer, VP of sales, chief evangelist, a developer, social media hacker, you know, lying to people. I mean, I was never good with the technology. You got to wear it all, and you got to do it with a smile on your face. You know, you got to have that reset. And guess what? I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. I'm talking Christmas, New Year's, you name it. No sleep. And you didn't get home till 10, 11 o'clock. But if you love it, it makes it a little bit easier, you know. That's all. Just be ready to sacrifice. Don't go, you know, half-heartedly. You're going to have a tough time succeeding.
I love that. Thank you so much. Ryan, do you have any additional questions? Because I have one more bomb.
Yeah. So, I have a question. What would you do with what you like take what you know now, but go back 10 years. Like, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago?
Do better due diligence. And, I've invested a lot of money in different companies. And unfortunately, one of them I put a lot of money in, and it's doing well, but it's not doing great. If I would have done a little more due diligence with the people at the helm, okay,
Right.
because I was a silent investor for the most part, I think I would not have made that move. So due diligence is really important. Make sure before you invest your time or your money that you've done the homework. Never make decisions on emotions. Don't ever make decisions on emotions. Bad stuff happens. I don't have a lot of regrets about my life, good and bad, where I come from, how I got where I am. I've made a lot of mistakes, personally, professionally, but each one of them I've learned from. They're all just truly, I mean, it's cliche, but they are all truly learning opportunities. And I bank that away and say, I'm not going to do that again. Here's how I would do it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But just do due diligence to prevent harm,
Yeah, and you can relate that with eXp too. Like, make sure you do your due diligence on the brokerage itself, and then also who you decide to partner up with.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, every brokerage is good and bad people. I haven't met anyone bad yet, but I know there's got to be some bad eXp people out there.
Sure.
So you want to make sure it's what's best for you and what you're looking for. And even eXp, it's borderline impossible for us to imagine, but it's not for everyone, and it's like, I don't see how it couldn't be, but I know everyone's different though, so it's like, so just really do your due diligence. Contrary to what David said, I just fell into this literally perfect spot of just the people I'm around, and I couldn't have picked it any better. And I really didn't do too much diligence. I just prayed about it.
And you were lucky.
And just had God do it for me. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of went with it. And it's just like a blessing. Honestly, it's just fantastic. I didn't do these phone calls and all the smart stuff that David did. I'm like, man, that is so smart. I didn't even think to do that.
I mean, he has a few years on you, not in a bad way, in a very intelligent, you are smarter than him, no offense, Ryan, kind of way.
Let me answer that question again to an entrepreneur. Another bit of advice is stop putting square pegs into round holes. We all do it. We all do it, whether it's with people that aren't the right fit for a job, or it's some other selection of a technology, or even a client. Whatever. Stop making decisions that don't fit or make sense, or you trying to force it to being the right answer. That is one thing I've learned in my almost 50 years is just let it happen. If, there's someone that I want to be a part of my staff and maybe they didn't, then that's okay. That just means some other better fit is coming right around the corner. If someone leaves, that's okay. Because, Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's very famous for saying, we don't want hostages.
Right.
We want volunteers. Same thing here with our group. We have almost no attrition. People don't leave. The smart ones. Sorry if you're out there and you're listening to that. But no, seriously, we have almost no attrition. And if someone says, hey, there's a better fit for me, okay, well, hey, good luck to you.
Right.
I wish you well. And that's the God's honest truth. I really do. It just means that there's a couple other partners coming. And that's how it's worked out. Again, go from 20 to 80 agents in 7 months. We're doing something right,
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So this actually leads perfectly into kind of my next topic. In our last few minutes that we do have together, I would love for you, without permission, to kind of go into Premier Group. We talked about eXp, how wonderful it is, about the technology, but I just want to give you a little time to, really dive into what's special about Premier and what Premier Group really means to you.
Oh, man. Oh, well, as I said in the beginning, I mean, this is not a business that I plan to sell. It's quite the opposite. It's one I plan to transition the equity and ownership back to the agents, the partners that help us build this over the next 2-3 years. We're already profitable. We're already doing very, very well. And I'll tell you this, 40 cents of every dollar we get goes back to the agent in profit sharing, in support to build their brand, not mine. In leadership, coaching, transaction coordination support, marketing support, recruiting to build their downline. How many other people are going to take 40 cents of each dollar and commit back to the agent, leaving me with 60 cents to pay the salaries of all the employees, within our firm to support our agents? So what makes us unique is the amount of services that we put around every agent. Again, technology, people, processes, training, and support. And it's funny, when we're done paying our bills every quarter, whatever's left over, 50% of that goes back to our partners, the members of our team and staff. The other 50% for 5 years, I put 100% of it back into the business. 100%. I haven't taken a penny of profit. I don't plan to. I really don't. Instead, what I would like to do is give agents the opportunity to be a part of my company, to the tune of, when I sold those companies, the greatest joy that I had, especially the first one, was, I did well, but it was being able to cut checks, 6-figure checks, for some of the employees that were with me for that entire duration, that 7 years, or even a few years, and giving them 6-figure checks where they could put money away for college, pay off their house, and do some really cool things with that money. It was life-changing moment for them. And because, again, money's temporary. The feeling that you get, it really is, when you get a windfall, but that you truly impacted someone's life. It was
Absolutely
a benefit. Well, not this time. That is my currency. That is my compensation right now, is I'm doing this, and I'm hell bent on doing it. The agents that are going to be with me for 2 and 3 years are going to accomplish something and get to somewhere that they only dreamed of. And I can't wait for that day to happen. Again, we're not far from it right now. We just need probably another 100 agents, but we're not far from that already. And I'm going to be able to do some amazing things that are going to get the attention of a lot of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my next question, in the next 5 years, you kind of answered it, where do you see the team and the organization? But I guess, what is one of your biggest dreams in the next 5 years to provide to your organization and your team?
Every member, every agent that's a part of our group is going to be making substantially more than the production, the sales that they're doing, the commissions, just being a part. You've heard me say it, Jessica. I believe in prosperity for all. Nobody's gonna get rich independently at our firm. Nobody. We're going to do it together, and we can, and we are right now. I mean, our internal referral network, the fact that we distribute our profits, the new agent growth incentive programs, the money, we give away thousands of dollars a year to every agent to advertise online, to host events, to go to a conference to learn something. This is all typically overhead expenses, and we're taking care of that for them. In 5 years, if I can be totally candid, I'll always be involved in this until the point I've got, dementia or something, and I'm a liability. But
never walking away.
what I'm doing right now is I've got all the pieces and parts in place. The only piece that I'm building upon and will continue to is leadership, making sure. There is one weakness with eXp, and that's a boots on the ground capability. They are a virtual in the cloud real estate brokerage. That was the only weakness. And that's not a weakness for most of the agents today, but there are still some, older agents that they want to go into an office. They want to get a coffee and sit at the table and then go into the office to get some training. I think that that's antiquated, and I think, that's going away. And so did eXp. And that's why they're growing so fast, because everyone else agrees with us. You should be able to do your job anywhere at any time. But in 5 years, I will be involved, but to a much lesser degree, because I'm going to have a layer of leaders that are going to support my approach to this, my goals of making sure, again, we're practicing prosperity for all. Everyone's going to do very well together. We have a very loyal team, I hate using the word, we're a family. We're a family. I really don't like that, to be totally honest, but we are. To a large degree. Hey, we are a community. I like the word community better.
Community is good. Yeah.
We're very diverse too. I've got every, race, creed, sex, orientation. I've got them all. And I really like that. It's kind of a small glimpse of what the world could be, and we all work together. We're all benefiting and prospering together. I wish the world could be more like us, to be totally candid.
Yeah.
But the world needs it right about now, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're dwindling down to the end. I really, really appreciate you coming on and your time. It is very obviously valuable. You've created something amazing, amazing team, amazing company. You've done so much in your life. You're, such a wealth of information, and I do appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Jessica, you're well on your way too. I know you've been in real estate for a year, not even a year, and you're already smashing deals, and you've got a rhythm and a cadence that a lot of new agents can't get to in a short amount of time. So you are well on your way. Ryan, it was great meeting you. I don't know your story, but we'll have to get that someday.
Hey, yeah, I'm happy we got the chance to connect, David.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the time, guys. Hopefully it was worthwhile.
Of course. So before we sign off, how can people connect with you if they want to look you up or Premier Group up? How do they go about doing so?
We have a website, obviously. Join Premier today. And Premier is spelled with an E on the end because we use it as a verb. We're premiering and showcasing agents. All right. So not a premier.
I like that. I never knew that. That's super awesome.
We're in action. We're not just describing something. We're putting agents in action. So it's join Premier today. Premier spelled Premiere today.com. It'll take you right to our site if you're interested in joining. Obviously, we're adding people every day, especially right now. In fact, we're meeting 32 people down in Tennessee as we speak. And there's a form on there if you want to learn some more. We'd be happy to help you out, do a one-on-one, 15-minute, 30-minute, tell you the details, and maybe you can be a member of our organization. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. I'll make sure to put all the information down below in our bio. Again, good evening and have a wonderful day, guys.
Thank you both. It's been great.
Take care.
We'll see.
Bye, everyone.